So today I want to talk about this Omar's power inverter just a little bit. And I'm not an expert on power inverters by any stretch of the imagination. This is just something I happen to have in the shop. And if you saw the last video, my journey throughout the day took me to this piece and we did a demo on it, powering this EV EKX 12-piece speaker, which is not even its intended purpose. So I want to just discuss a few things about this inverter and maybe clear up some things I didn't make clear enough in the video. First thing I want to talk about is this Ryobi power inverter that I'm returning. Now, the reason I justified the purchase of this is because it came free with this dual battery pack. It's Ryobi Days at Home Depot. You buy this dual battery pack with the charger and the bag, and you get a free tool. One of the free tools was the inverter. I thought, hey, how cool. I can upgrade my leaf blower, which needs an upgraded battery, and I get this cool power inverter I can do DJ videos with as well. Win-win, right? Turns out these batteries are actually smaller than the batteries my leaf blower requires. So I'm going to return it. That doesn't mean that this battery pack and the inverter is a bad deal, or maybe it won't work for you. It's just not going to work for me. I think it would be perfect for somebody who already has Ryobi power tools and you want some extra batteries. But the only power tool I have that's Ryobi is the leaf blower. Everything else I have is Craftsman, Porter Cable, and Milwaukee. So now let's get into the Omars. First of all, I want to talk about why I bought it in the first place. And it wasn't to power the speaker or anything like that. It was as a charger for a phone charging station. I thought it would be cool to do a remote phone charging station that wasn't against a wall, didn't have a power cord on it, where you could scrim a table and maybe put a battery powered light under it to show up green to indicate a charging station, and then have a battery pack to actually have guests charge phones. Like a courtesy table almost. You could put business cards on it or whatever too. That's why I thought it would be a good piece. Not because I wanted to power speakers or lights or anything else. The other use that Howie and I thought would be really good for this is, let's say that you're using something like the battery powered LD Systems Maui 5 Goes, and you need to power your controller and your laptop. Now you already know your laptop is battery powered. And if your controller is USB, well, your laptop then powers your controller. The LD Systems Maui 5 Goes, they estimate that you can go like 6 hours at 120 decibels on that thing. Realistically, Johnny Dive over there says it's probably closer to 5 hours, but I'm not confident my laptop's going to go that long. So, how about we plug this sucker into the laptop to charge the battery, to prolong the life of the laptop while we're doing these remote battery-powered gigs. That was why I bought it. It wasn't for this. I did this demo just to show you that it could do it. Not that I recommend that you do it, but that it could indeed do it. But since I did it, people have questions, and they're looking at it like, hey, this is probably a solution for me. And it might be a solution for some of you, where you're trying to do ceremony or cocktail and you don't have a battery-powered speaker. You don't want to spend the money on a battery-powered speaker. Something simple like this for like, I think it's 60 bucks on Amazon right now, might be a nice option for you. Maybe, maybe not. It kind of depends. Yesterday I did a 40-minute test on the Omars with the speaker at moderate levels, and the indicator didn't move. It's still at 4 bars. I thought that was pretty impressive. I was at moderate levels, and I want to just point out something. I was playing yacht rock, which is like 70s, 80s mellow hits. This isn't compressed music like EDM is. I've got EDM on right now through XM, and if I crank it up, and we're in a break in the song right now, but this stuff is highly compressed. In fact, any music from probably the last, I would say 25, 30 years is pretty highly compressed, be it hip-hop, EDM, top 40, country, it doesn't matter what it is. A whisper is a scream. We're in these volume wars right now with music recordings. In the old days, if somebody whispered, it was a whisper. But today, if you've seen it on commercials and such, when people whisper, it's loud. They've got it compressed. That's how they do music now. And John Young did a test with this power inverter with Frank Sinatra versus modern music, and the modern music drained the battery faster. So to do a prolonged test on this system, it would depend on what I'm throwing through it. I mean, what kind of music am I playing? If I'm playing contemporary stuff, the battery's not going to last as long as if I'm playing oldies or yacht rock or something like that, if that makes any sense to you. Now, having said that, some people are like, whatever, just play EDM or whatever you want to, crank it up as loud as it'll go and see how long the battery will last. The logistical problem with this is that I do this in my home. I have a family here. Nobody wants to listen to music cranked up all the way for a few hours. I can't do it at night. People are sleeping. I can't do it during the day because I'm going to disturb the neighbors. I'd have to take this way out to like my mom's house during the day, close the garage doors, and give it a try. It's just not as easy as you might think. I can do short bursts of it or moderate levels, but to crank it for several hours might be a problem. So if you really want me to do that test, I'll do it, but just give me some time on it. I can't just do it anytime. I've got to wait for the right opportunity because I'm never alone in this house. There's always somebody here, and they're always doing something, and I really don't want to disturb them. So now let's talk about hooking the Omars up to a speaker like this. First thing I want to mention is this is not the first speaker that I tried. In fact, Howie and I were talking about trying to do an Evolve 50. We thought that'd be a really neat demo. But as soon as I plugged this thing into the Evolve 50 and turned the power on, it shut down immediately. It just can't handle it. We thought maybe it could, but it can't. So scratch that idea. Moved on to this 12-inch EKX 12P. The reason I chose the speaker is because it's really all I have right now. Everything else I have that's a 10-inch is out on loan right now to other DJs here in Milwaukee. So this is a speaker I had to work with. Otherwise, I would try to 10. Absolutely, like maybe an Avante or an FBT. But yeah, this is all I had available. And even powering this up, you can't just throw it together. You have to kind of do it in an order. First thing you want to do is turn the Omars on and let it stay on for a few minutes. There's software in here that takes care of the fall protection, apparently, so I read. And the software may take, I don't know, 15-20 seconds to boot up. Once it does that, you can turn your speaker on. Now when you turn your speaker on, do it with your volumes down. Don't do it with your volumes up. Absolutely, keep your volumes down. And then gradually bring your volumes up on your music and make sure everything's going to be okay, and there you go. Now once I got it going, I could throw whatever I wanted at it for volume. I could crank it up all the way. I did it in the demo yesterday. It's kind of like if you're driving a car with the clutch. I mean, coming off the line, you know, from a dead stop with the clutch might be difficult, but once you get going, driving stick shift and a clutch is pretty easy. It's kind of the same thing with this particular configuration, this speaker in the Omars, and you might experience this as well. So just some words of caution. So in closing, just understand that I'm not trying to sell you this Omars. I'm not even suggesting that you use this Omars to do this. I just demoed it that way to show you that it could indeed do it. Has a lot of purposes. Its intention, again, is a charging station for phones, for your laptop, to charge batteries. It's not to particularly power things, but it can indeed do it. For how long? We're not sure, but you know, to be responsible, I would say this would be something you think about for more of a ceremony situation or a cocktail situation for an hour or so. I wouldn't try to power your mains for an evening. That just seems irresponsible to me, but that's me. Do what you want. I don't want to mislead anybody here. But anyway, yeah, that's my video. Just wanted to clear a few things up, and I hope I did. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and your comments and your subscriptions and ringing the bell and all that stuff. It does mean something. I am trying to keep the lights on here, and every time you guys watch a video, it's good for me. So we'll see you next time. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section, and we'll try to do a prolonged demo on this with some compressed music just to keep it fair and see how long we can go. Practice and enjoy.